Hail to the king, baby.
It's me, it's Michael B, and it's Wednesday. You know what that means. No, you actually don't know what that means. This is different for me. The reason being is, I already released a video today, a pile of news happened, and I figured it was too much news that I wanted to cover, that I couldn't get done just in a regular video. I figured the best way to do it was to just do an hour live stream, so I could do the news like I normally do in videos, but I can make it interactive and hang out with you fine people on a Wednesday night. So, it's Wednesday night, you know what that means. We're going to cover the news! Thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight. This should be a lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff to talk about, more stuff than I actually included in the title, in the thumbnail, even in the description. We got so much to talk about. Strap yourself in. It's going to be a wild ride. Thank you so much for being here. First off the bat, we got a couple super chats that I want to get out of the way. Thank you very much, Dan in St. Louis. You didn't have to do this, man. $2 super chat for Scarlett and Michael B's toys. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch it yet, but I did put up episode 5 of Store Surfing. Me and Scarlett went around and did a little bit of shopping. So, Dan, thank you very much for watching that, and thank you very much for throwing that along. I'll let Scarlett know you sent her $2, and I'll make sure she gets that. Thank you very much. And he also sent me another super chat right after that, before the show even started. Pinball funds, $2, so greatly appreciated. That'll get me some pinball time while I'm at the expo, so thank you very much. And of course, you know what that means. You gotta give the people what they want. And, specifically for JJ, I did turn the volume down. Hopefully, it's pretty good. Alright guys, let me get my chats back up on the screen, because we got another super chat. Came again before the show started, $5 from Richie Cavs Retrocade. Thank you very much, Richie. And you see what he's asking here. Give the people what they want. And you know what that means? You gotta give the people what they want. Alright, let me find a different one for you. This one. Hopefully not as abrasive to the ears as it was before, so I'm working on it, guys. I'm trying to get the sound down. Anyways, want to say hello to some people in the chat, especially people I haven't had a chance to say hello to yet. We've got Dan Z, JJ, Richie Cavs Retrocade, Carl O is here. Who else we got? Ted Adam Green, thank you very much, brother. Jolly Green, shipping is really expensive for Crystal Castles. Oh, we'll talk about that. Super expensive for Canada, brother. Jason Little Alien, who's responsible for these shenanigans? It's my fault, man. There was just too much to talk about. Couldn't do a video. I'm sorry, brother. Crystal Castles is a beautiful cab. I 100% agree with that. Is it Desk Crap Wednesday? Yeah, that should be the name of my show, Desk Crap Wednesday. Good idea. Chris Zeke, Hump Day with Michael B. Chris Zeke, always good to see you, my man. Sterling, we were talking about you Monday night. We talked about the Special Arcade 1-Up cabs. I brought you up. Good to see you, brother. Retro Arcade Trooper, thanks for being here. Chris Nooner, Chris NXNW, lots to discuss. Football, perhaps. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. I don't know how much we got to discuss right now. Glenn's Retro Show is here. We're going to talk about Glenn tonight because we got a big conversation about the new Crystal Castles and, of course, Glenn's deck that's also selling with it. His partnership with New Wave Toys continues, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And JJ, yeah, despite what P-Dub says, right? Yes, that's the one I wanted. Who knows? You'd be lucky. No, we don't want. Okay. Who else we got here? Mad Astra, Thunderbird, Atool's here. Atool is now, what did Mark call them earlier? Ratool? Good to see you, Atool. Have fun out there in Calgary, brother. JR, good to see you too. Rushmore, they really need to re-release Tempest. Agreed. Hopefully that's one they consider when they make the bigger cabs. And yeah, hey bro. Anyways, guys, let's get started. Of course, the big news coming out of today that we're probably all here to talk about, as Paul said earlier, Desk Shit Wednesday. So let me just make sure I've got the right screen up. I probably don't because I was doing something earlier. Let's see. No, I do. Thank God. Oh, yeah, Nooner. They need to release Centipede too. So the news broke today. It wasn't exactly on time because it was actually a little bit late because I was sitting here at 5:30 my time, which was, 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And I was expecting the news came up. It came up a couple minutes later, but Crystal Castles, my prognosis was right. I mean, you can pretty much tell based on the year and the, image they put out on the internet as the teaser. So pre-sale for Crystal Castles. Here's your different options. You got the Crystal Castles X Replicade Field Test Edition. So this is the cab we all know about. You also got Crystal Castles X Replicade, and it's like a special edition. I mean, it's cool, but my God, I mean, look how beautiful the other Crystal Castles is. Why wouldn't you want to get the first one? Then, of course, we've got the package with the deck. Both of those are $200. Package with the deck, and if you wanted to get both, $389.99. Now, you can save an additional 20% by typing in Crystal20 as a pre-sale code, and you can get your Replicade for, I forget what it is. Let me just bring it up here. Shop now. Hopefully it doesn't give my information out. It probably will. Yeah, we're going to... Yo, there it is. So, Crystal Castles Replicade with the trackball stick comes out to $280 with the coupon code discounted and $160 for Crystal Castles X Replicade. That's what you're looking at. TMCNY says, looks good, price is good too. Yeah, we ain't going to see re-releases until they do a Survivor Series or a larger scale cab. Let's not discount the possibility of a larger scale cab. So that's possible too. And before we go too much further, I just want to bring this up on screen. Dan, too much, man. Thank you so much. You didn't need to do that, brother. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. I know why you did it. You just want to give the people what they want. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm still working this out. I got to get the chat back up on screen every time I do this. Who else we got here? Jim the Pacers fan. Good to see you, man. Can't wait to get the cab. I just got here. Have you guys talked about the wood panel cab? No, we're just kind of going over it now. So let me bring this back up on screen and take a look at it. So, yeah, I'll do this one so you can see my pretty face too. So here's the regular Replicade. I love how they actually recreated the original poster. So let's go down and take a look at a couple pictures. So here's the poster for the prototype. There's the cab itself. There's a front look of the cab. There's the back piece of the cab. Don't know with this one if it comes with the PCB. That might just be a Berserk thing. So we'll have to go down and see. But those are the images of the cab. Let's see what it's coming out with. Oh, it's got a light up trackball, new illuminated trackball. That's not, I don't know if that's arcade accurate. I'm not 100% sure, but plug and play. Let's see the features. 1/6 scale, plays the original ROM. New illuminated trackball, mini coin op, CRT FX 2.0, which is really good. Operator's menu, miniaturized control panel featuring trackball, plug and play, handcrafted, illuminated marquee, and LED enhanced cabinet accents. LED enhanced cabinet accents. What are those? I'm not sure what though. Oh, I see what it is right there. The light there in the middle. That's really cool. Nice touch. What else we got? Replicade signature stereo audio, high resolution cabinet art, die-cast metal coin doors, high capacity rechargeable battery, screen, officially licensed by Incredible Technologies. Incredible Technologies owns Crystal Castles now? I thought it was Atari. Yeah, officially licensed by Atari, but I guess Incredible Technologies is... Yeah, I think that's a typo too. That's a leave over. So I'm guilty of doing this at work too. I do a lot of accounting work. So when I do financial statements and stuff like that, or I do budgets, I just basically reuse last year's budget and write over it. So I'll leave bad dates in sometimes. I'm not a very good accountant. So I think that's what it is. It's basically, they just updated the page for Golden Tee, left that in there. So it doesn't look like we're going to be getting a PCB with this one. That was specific to Berserk, but yeah. JJ, I kind of agree with you too. I bet you they don't sell many of these units with the wood panel sides because the other one's just so beautiful. Like, I'm sure there's going to be collectors that get both because this is a collectible item. The way New Wave toys do stuff, it's out once, and if you miss it, it's gone. I know you guys are asking for re-releases, but that's not how they do business. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I agree with you, Biggie D. Typo. I strangely want the 7800 Plus again. I know. I'm all in on the 7800 Plus. I'm waiting for the pre-order to come up on Amazon.ca. My buddy Conti Dinda told me it comes up like a week later compared to the US. So waiting to see when the pre-order will come up for that. Yeah, I'm getting the 7800 Plus. I don't know why. I just think it's really friggin' cool. Yeah, there it is. Cooking the books. Yeah. No, Nooner, I wish. Hey, look at that. I just discovered your channel a few hours ago. Decided to play my Ridge Racing machine that's been sitting unplugged and unused since I moved. Hey, good, I motivated you to go play some games. That's what we're here for, right? To talk about our love and nostalgia of games, retro gaming, arcades, pinball, all that stuff. So that's awesome to hear, Rogue Zero. Good. They need to re-release Berserk, too. You missed Berserk, Rushmore. Anyways, guys, that's that one. Now, we've also got the wood panel one, which, again, it's an interesting... They always offer these features. Like, I've never seen a Crystal Castles that looks like that. I'm guessing this was also a version that was out there. It's just the other one is so pretty. But I'm sure there's going to be people out there that want this different version as well. But for me, like, I would definitely want the original Crystal Castles. And then, of course, the thing that is probably most interesting, just like Golden Tee, they're also doing a GRS deck with this one as well. And I think this one should be more interesting to people. I mean, like we said, Golden Tee seemed so out of character for New Wave toys. Doesn't mean it's a bad choice. I'm sure a lot of people bought it and stuff like that. But this is more in the line of what a lot of classic fans were looking for. You get a great looking control panel, you get an illuminated trackball, and it's very minimal on buttons, so I mean you're not getting a lot of extra there, but you do get the trackball and you get an arcade accurate looking controller. So I think that's awesome. Price point again, $349, but as we saw with the 20% off, it gets much more reasonable. So I've got a poll up asking you guys what you think, so let me just pop back on screen. I want to check the poll here now to see how it's going. So right now, with 51 votes in so far, we've got getting the replicate deck at 10%. Yes, getting the replicate at 21%. Just changed because we got another vote. Getting the replicate deck at 9%. Getting the replicate at 21%. Thinking about it, 28%. Not getting it, 42%. Interesting. Andy's Game Room, welcome to the show, brother. Thank you so much for joining. So I'd be interested in getting some of your guys' feedback. For the people getting the replicate deck, why? Let me know. If you're just getting the replicate, let me know why. Obviously, you probably collect replicates. And then for the people not getting it, put that in the chat as well. Let me know why. I want to get your guys' feedback on which version you're going to get and why, because I think this is beautiful. I think this is really on par with what New Wave Toys is known for, what they're special with. But it's a beautiful cab. is it the game too? Because Crystal Castles is awesome, but is it awesome in order for you to kind of shell out, $160 for a replicade, $260 for the replicade and control panel? Beautiful cabinet, but is the game your cup of tea? So that's what I want to find out now. So let me know in the chat if you're getting the replicating deck. Yes, say so and why. If you're just getting the replicade, say so and why. And if you're not getting it, I really want to know why. That is correct, according to Shiloh and what they put on the site. So if you got Golden Tee coming and you want to get Glenn's replicade New Wave toys with the replica deck, apparently this will work on Golden Tee as well, but it's interesting because it has a different button configuration, so I don't know how that'll work, but it should work. That's what they're saying. Andy's Game Room says it looks great. I agree. Like, beautiful New Wave toys knock it out of the park when they do these amazing arcade recreations. JR says, just getting the replicate with artwork because I already pre-ordered the Golden Tee control panel. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, how many control panels do you need, right? And Worst Jago saying the same thing. Replicate only. Will use the Golden Tee deck with it. Brian G says, looks good, just not the one I care for. I mean, there's something to be said about that. Crystal Castles is cool, but, they just make me feel good, Mike. Purchase for sure. That's awesome, Mobile Mutant. I'm getting both the cab and the deck. Thank you very much, Retro Arcade Trooper. Tell me why. Oh, that's so sad, man. I'm sorry that happened. So many friggin' scams going around. Like, I'm at the point where I'm basically just going to cancel my home phone because the only calls that come in are scam calls, and I don't know how, but like these scammers got my cell phone number now too, so I'm getting non-stop calls from people telling me they're credit card companies I don't even have credit cards with. So yeah, I mean, it's brutal that people are doing it. They could do a replicate of fake dog poop from Top Secret Movie and I'd still buy it. Nooner's in. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that, Sterling. Don't you worry. I'm not getting it because, as you know, shipping to Canada is just too much. That's one of the curses with New Wave toys and Canadian consumers. We're definitely going to talk about that tonight. Yeah, the shipping is pretty high if you get the trackball and game deck. I have no idea how high it is in the US, but we'll talk about the shipping. It's one of these problems with like small companies. They don't have the same shipping buying power, or they don't build it into the price. So, we see the full shipping price and we're like, God damn. Sorry for saying goddamn. I know people have asked me not to say that before. I started collecting the crap Walmart mini cabs, but then Arcade 1-Up came out with the bigger cabs and boom, sold all of them and bought my first 3/4 cab, Galaga, and the rest is history. Yeah. Not buying. Once I read that the signed cabs are sent at random. Oh, I didn't see that. Signed cabs are sent at random. That's an interesting choice. I always get worried about when companies do stuff like that, like random prizes. I know it's not the same thing, but one example is with GameStop. Certain toys come out, and I love toys, but I'm hesitant to buy it through GameStop, even though I get a discount for being like a platinum card member, because they don't guarantee which one you'll get. It'll be like a set of 4 AEW figures, and I'm like, awesome, I want 2 of them. And then I, try to order it, and it's like, you will get one of these figures at random. I'm like, no. I'm not paying $35 at random. You make sure I get the one I want, or I'm not getting nothing. I agree with that, Worst Jago. Wood grain version will end up being one of the rarest replicades. Can't see many getting it because the regular is too beautiful. That's true, but you never know. This might come out as a sale price. People will buy it up, and then it'll still be crazy, sought after afterwards. Hey, Retro Arcade Trooper says it's one of his favorite 80s arcade I played back in the day and excited in getting. Nice. JR says random Q*berts were signed. Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I didn't know that. Did not know that at all. So, Crystal Castles, it's a fun game. I like it. I wouldn't say it's like Atari's best game. Some people absolutely love it. I'm not familiar with it from back in the day, obviously. I've never seen it in the arcades when I went to the arcades. The time had already passed. Where I first learned about Crystal Castles, I want to say I'm saying this right, was from King of Kong. And I don't know if you guys remember in King and Kong, but there was this dude there that was having breakfast with the King of Kong guy, the good guy, not the bad guy, Billy Mitchell, but the good guy. And the reason he was there at the championship was he was trying to set the world record, or he was competing in the Crystal Castles Foot Edition. So he actually played with the trackball with his feet. I just thought that was the weirdest thing ever. So that's what it reminded me so much. I don't know that. That's a $1 million question. I saw Glenn here in the chat earlier, so that's a really, really good question. That's one for him. I don't know. They are randomly signing Crystal Castle cabinets as well, is what I heard today. Yeah, okay, so there it is. I mean, I can't see it for sure. Let me go down and see. I didn't see anything about signatures, but I may have just missed it. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that one. So if they are, I guess, guys. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, that's a weird choice, right? Yeah, I mean, it depends on what happens, because New Wave Toys, like, when we went to Cleveland last year, they had just like a bunch of extra cabs just left out. So, yeah. Don't think it says so on the website. Yeah, I don't see it either, but I mean, if they're signing them, they're signing them, right? So anyways, guys, you know, looking to get some good feedback here, and right now, we are at 44% of people with 70 votes are saying not getting it, 24% are saying thinking about it, 24% are saying yes, getting the replicade, and 7% are getting the deck. So here's another question. Do you guys like the decks that they're doing? I always thought the deck was a really good idea, like, not necessarily for us, but I always thought it was a good idea for, I'll go back on this, when Arcade 1-Up was coming out with, you know, the plug-and-play controller, and they were coming out with other things, I said, you know, the smartest thing they could do, if they want to create something that's a less expensive version of an Arcade 1-Up that just plugs into a TV, make something like the Legends Gamer Mini, but make it, you know, with the actual correct arcade control panel art. I love that New Wave Toys is doing this, and at $260 US using the coupon code, it's pretty reasonably priced. I don't know, it's, you know, it's in the eye of the beholder, but considering what arcade prices are right now, I mean, $160 for the replicade, $100 for the controller to go with it, that's not terrible, right? But then again, you guys all have different gauges on what you're willing to spend on something. So I always thought this was a really cool idea. Of course, replicade is a really cool 1/6 scale cabinet that you can play, but it's also just a really cool plug-and-play device as well. So with the arcade accurate control panel, you can play the game and plug it to your TV. But I wonder what people are feeling about this right now with the control panels. I know P-Dub said something like, man, are we going to have room for all these control panels and stuff like that? Well, obviously, the fact that you can tie them in and use this trackball with Golden Tee, use the Golden Tee with Crystal Castles, certainly helps. But is this a concept and a product you guys are interested in? That's what I want to know. The deck is fine. It can be played with other trackball replicades, as it can get expensive for buying each. That's true, right? If they offer a deck with every game coming out, people won't have space to store all these panels. Yeah, P-Dubs, that's what P-Dubs said as well. If anybody's looking for a New Wave Toys Space Ace cab, JJ's got one that he's willing to put out there. That's a good point, JJ. I bet the random sign ones will be the faux wood panel sides. Easy to sign on, more room for combo orders. Yeah, good point. So anyways, guys, I'm going to take down this poll now. Very satisfied with my Zoltar replica, not feeling some of these mini cabs. Yeah, the Zoltar replica is amazing, but, you know, the mini cabs aren't for everybody. Like, people want to play something that, you know, it's cool to look at, it's cool to have on your shelf, but if you want to play with something that's at a reasonable size to play for some people. That's why Arcade 1-Up was so appealing to them. And, you know, that's why Arcade 1-Up XL is so appealing. They want to play at something that they feel, you know, they can play at that reminds them of the arcade. Like, obviously New Wave Toys has everything you could be looking for. These are amazing replications, but the difference in size and scale is what kind of takes you out sometimes when the nostalgia comes in. I like the idea, but I play games that are on cabinets, and I play console games on the TV. Yeah, that's a fair point. So it might not be a concept that everybody's interested in. So I'm going to take down this poll. We had 74 votes, and the winner was not getting it with 46%. Thinking about it had 23. Yes, getting the replicate alone had 24. And getting both says 7%. I know, I got my hat on. I'm covering it up. Thanks, MG. So anyways, I'm going to close this poll, and I know you guys are going to be mad at me, but I'm going to put up a new one here now, and I'll try not to take too long with this one. Do you like the extra control deck New Wave Toys concept? And this is a simple poll. So the idea of having an additional control deck that's larger, has the same art, and can make it feel more like playing a real cab, is this a good idea? Is this a good add-on or a good complementary product for New Wave Toys? What do you guys think? I mean, I'm seeing, a very low number of you guys saying, yes, I'm going to pick up both. But do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's something interesting for the fans? Oh, Paul, I know. I'm sorry, brother. Maybe you will have interest, not so much in this category, but New Wave Toys if they make a bigger cab. And that's what I'm waiting for. That's what a lot of us are waiting for. Shiloh said it on an interview he did recently. I'm not sure if that was with Biggie D or if that was Glenn directly, but he did confirm they're making a bigger cab. So I have faith. We're going to convert you to a New Wave Toys fan yet, brother. Yeah, JJ, that's the interesting thing. Do I like the external control deck? Yes. Will I buy one? Probably not. Start the tap dancing music. Yeah, but the deck is great if you have a party, for example. You have a group that wants to play Golden Tee. Good point. Hey, Thumper Squid, what's happening? Good to see you, brother. All right, guys, so a couple votes in right now. We're at 35 votes, and 51% of people are saying you like the concept, but only 7% of people said they were going to buy it. So, yeah, interesting. Decadent Dave says, I'll believe it when I see it for the New Wave Toys full-scale cab. We'll talk about that a little bit, too. Yes, right? If New Wave Toys did that, it'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. But, I mean, it'd be expensive. And shipping would be expensive. So keep that in mind. And Shiloh's pretty good about price points. Like, I know he wouldn't try to charge crazy. I think it would be under $1,000. But, how much? And then is it going to be flat packed? How's it going to be built? There's lots of questions there on how they're going to do it. No one knows. We just know we'd love to see it. But what would the actual cabinet be like? Would it be made of wood? Would it be made of plastic? I don't know. Sterling, yes, 100%. So now's a good time to bring this up. And I talked about this with Golden Tee. One thing that really turned me off from getting Golden Tee and the control deck, and let me just bring this up on screen again. So one thing that really turned me off from getting Golden Tee and the control deck was the price point, because even with the 20% discount with Golden Tee, it was going to cost me over $600 Canadian in order to get the cabinet here. So I said, you know what, I'll be more excited when they do more of an arcade classic game. So I did go in and I did put these in my cart. Unfortunately, I'm just tapped out now. I'm getting ready for Chicago, so I can't really do anything now anyways. But I did go in and take a look at what it would cost to order these. And, $260 or $280 was the 20% off. I thought that was good. Clicked on ship to me, and my price point here in Canada for me to get both the replicade and the control deck was $125 US. So almost half of what the combo cost additionally in shipping. So that brings me up to that $650 mark, and that's what's so friggin' hard about this. So then when I told someone, they were like, well, how much for just the cab? So keep in mind, this is a $160 cab when you add the 20%. I added that there. Shipping was $72 to Canada. So if you're in the US, like, I think it's, great. You can go get these. They ship to you. Biggie D said earlier, relatively expensive shipping, but nothing compared to Canada. Now, there is an out with Canada shipping. If you do live close to the border, you can use a program like Shipsy. That's what a lot of people are doing. And my buddy Atul, I don't know if he's still here in the chat, I know he ordered one to his Shipsy address, which is in, like, I don't know, close to the border to Toronto. His shipping was only $23. But if you order to Canada, I've heard other people say that it's the same thing I'm experiencing, and it's like $70 to get the shipping here in Canada. So when I buy New Wave toys here in Canada, when I buy them, I've been lucky enough they sent me a bunch to review, but when I buy them myself, I usually wait to see if they show up on Amazon.ca, because Amazon.ca has free shipping. So, I can get the cab for a reasonable price. But otherwise, man, like, it is so hard to be a New Wave Toys fan and live in Canada, because their shipping is just so friggin' hard. That's right, Mike. That's the plan. So I don't think this will be ready by the time Chicago's up, but yeah, that's how I got a couple cabs last time. I brought them home from the Cleveland Gaming Classic. See, it's the problem with small companies, and even small to large companies. It's one of the things that always prevented me from buying, even from Arcade1Up.com. Arcade1Up, who were a huge company at one point, massive company. They never ever did figure out their shipping to Canada, and it made it so hard for us to buy products from them, because you would buy a product from Arcade1Up, and then you would expect that you're going to have tax, that's fine, and duty, and then you're going to have crazy shipping. Like, shipping from Arcade1Up was usually anywhere from $120 to $180 US to get a product shipped to you. So by the time it came in, whatever you paid for your product on Arcade1Up.com, add another $500 is how much it costs to get the product there. I ordered Burger Time, Outrun, and Killer Instinct Pro, and that's the only stuff I ever ordered off Arcade1Up.com. And the only reason I ordered Killer Instinct Pro was the minute it launched, I went in and I checked the shipping, and there was a glitch in the system, and it said shipping to me was only $35. So I was like, well, I got to now. It still cost me, like, I think it was like $1,600 to get my Killer Instinct Pro here by the time duty and everything came out. But I saved on shipping, and that's the important thing. Once I saw that $35 shipping, I was like, hot damn, getting a Killer Instinct Pro. I was also drinking at the time, so I didn't make a good decision. I shouldn't have bought it. I love it, but I shouldn't have bought it. It was too much money. They do and they don't. You don't want to be, like, when you come across, depending on how long they're, you can bring so much stuff back duty-free. But if they search you and you're over the limit, oh, man. Yeah, DMAC is from Canada. I think he's from Ontario. That whole company he was working with at the time used to be the At Games company as well. Chizcom. That was a Canadian company. So, yeah. No, never happened, I know. So anyways, guys, that's the Crystal Castles replicade. I think this is one of the prettiest replicades they've made to date. I love the art. I mean, it's a beautiful cabinet. I love the marquee. I love the extra Atari feature they put in there in front of the speakers. The illuminated trackball is... hopefully there's an option where you can choose to use it or not, because it's one of those things, like, you love options, but like stuff like the light up, but you want to make sure that you still have your original feel and look. So not everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, 100% I want an illuminated trackball. Some people are just going to want the original trackball, so make sure that, yeah, there you go. Yeah, this is same company, brother, same company. Not interested in Barbie doll cabs. No, for some people, this is just 0%. 0%. You're never going to be into replicade. Probably never going to be into quarter arcade. You're looking for something bigger. So you're waiting, like I am, for New Wave Toys to do something a little bit larger scale. Yeah, I was about to say Food Fight. Food Fight is a hell of a good-looking cab, but there you go. Where do you put a 1/6 scale cabinet game? So I got mine up on a shelf there behind me, and I just kind of do like a diorama arcade with them. And every now and then I'll plug them into the TV and play a couple games that way with a controller, or I'll just take it out if I want to do a quick game and play with it that way. Thumper Squid says he's waiting on the next Zoltar shipment. I don't blame you. David Deming, in your dollhouse. What is this, an arcade for ants? Anyways, the last thing on this, I was having a conversation with Glenn a little while ago, and I do want to talk about the large-scale New Wave Toys cabinet. I mean, you have to think about this. In order for them to move into the larger scale, that's a big risk for them. The company's not really set up for that type of stuff. I mean, they're a very small shop right now. They keep all their cabs on in-house, in their office. So there's a lot that would go into this. Coming up with, shipping obviously is a big thing. They would probably have to take on a warehouse. I mean, that's a big swing for them. So the impression I got from Glenn was, Shiloh said they're doing a large-scale cab, but I'm guessing they're seeing how the response of their current products is going in the overall arcade market. And the impression I got was they're seeing how these control decks sell to see if something in a larger scale format has legs, if people will be interested in them. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about that because I think New Wave Toys and a large scale cabinet at the right price point could be a huge seller. I think there'd be tons of interest. I think us in the home arcade community, we're looking for somebody to offer a competition to Arcade 1-Up and what Arcade 1-Up makes. And I'm going to be very clear about this. A multicade isn't a competitor to Arcade 1-Up. It's a completely different product. If you want to draw the level of interest that people who like Arcade 1-Up have, it's about the nostalgia. It's about recreating the arcade cab. So in order to do that, you have to offer a similar product. So, I mean, I think there is a market for New Wave Toys to do it if they can do it at a reasonable price point. Like, obviously, if it's $2,000, nobody's going to buy it. If it's up around $1,000, it's going to be a hard sell. But if you can get it in the, $500 to $800 range and it's really good, I think people will be interested. People will buy it. People will flock to your product. But if these decks don't sell well, I really hope that New Wave Toys doesn't take that as an indication that there's not a market for them to do larger scale cabs. That's like chalk and cheese. These are two different products. Not everybody's going to want a control panel to go with a replicade. That's not the same thing as releasing a larger scale cab. So I really hope that if these sales don't go well, which I don't know if they will or not, I think they're good products. I think they're a good accessory to go with your replicades. And of course, you can play in a larger scale format on your TV. But if they don't go well, please, New Wave Toys, don't take that as an indication that no one's interested in a larger scale arcade product from you. We totally are. Yeah, exactly. It's not the same thing at all. Exactly. Very different products. There you go. Not everybody wants that. Completely understand. Yep. All right. Last thing on this. I don't know if New Wave Toys can do anything about the shipping. I have no idea. I also know Canada's a very small market. I've been told by Arcade 1-Up, at Games, Canada is very, very small. Like at Games, I think it represents 3% of their total sales. Arcade 1-Up, I would imagine it's less than 10%. So I know it's not something you're super concerned about, but if there's something you can do, like, I don't know, allocate a number of your cabs to Amazon.ca or something like that. I know that you want to take care of the people that pre-order first, but you have to understand there's such a big barrier with getting your cabs here in Canada. And there's a bunch of arcade people that want to support you, me included. Shipping is just crazy. It's just crazy here in Canada. So if there's something you can do to help us Canadians out with shipping, Not necessarily, you pay for the shipping or subsidize the shipping because you probably can't afford that. But figure out some way to do like Amazon.ca or something like that. Give us an option for shipping and we will buy your product. Trust me. I just want to make sure that's out there. Yeah, Nooner, it's going to be questionable, but I'm hoping they can figure it out. If anybody can, I have faith in New Wave Toys. Anyways, guys, moving on, or I'll be here all night. I could talk about this for an hour alone, but there's a couple other things I did want to talk about. One of which, I'm going back to my retro cartridge collecting days on this one, and retro system collecting days, and I just want to bring this up because I'm kind of aghast and surprised by some news that came out just recently. Shredder from who? From New Wave Toys, Arcade 1-Up. I think you can take a look. New Wave Toys have a roadmap, so they've already released silhouettes of all the cabs they've got coming out. Try to match those to what's already out there. I'm with you on Ninja Gaiden Arcade. Ninja Gaiden Arcade is badass. It's so good. It's also really hard. Love to see it. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. There's some Atari cabs up there, so it's questionable whether or not, like, some people said Indiana Jones, Roadrunner. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think they have to use major quality wood. No, they don't have to make, like, physical commercial arcade cabinets. They can still be in cheap wood, the same as Arcade 1-Up. They just got to be better in terms of their accuracy and the gameplay. I agree. Yes, that's exactly a Pin Farmer. We're going to get to that in a second. I do want to talk about this, but before we do, really quickly, guys, I just want to bring this up. So I don't know if you saw this. Like, I used to be really heavily into, like, retro console gaming back around 2010. It's a long story for those of you who haven't been here since the start, when I started my YouTube channel, but I always kept my games and consoles. I always had, like, a collection, but I didn't always play them. I always had my new consoles out. So back when the Wii came out, I absolutely fell in love with the Virtual Console. Like, that was the coolest thing in the world. Being able to play these games, these classic games on this new console, I loved it. I waited every week. They used to have releases every week. I was picking up everything, and then they came out with consoles that I could only dream about finding, like TurboGrafx 16, and there was Master System on there. Just so much cool friggin' stuff. So that reinvigorated my love for all this retro gaming. So I took all my retro gaming stuff back out of my parents' house for storage, set it all up again, and then started collecting again, even getting some of the stuff that I missed out on as a kid. Like, one of those famous things is TurboGrafx 16. I moved when I was 12. I was 12, moved to a new place, and this is the time the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis was popular. I moved onto this road. Every single kid on the road had a TurboGrafx 16 in a bunch of games. It was bizarro land. So I played a ton of TurboGrafx 16. Never ever got one, though. So anyways, I got into this retro gaming stuff. Got into it hard. Collected almost every single NES game. Collected almost every single TurboGrafx 16 game. Like, it was crazy. I loved doing it. But after a while, had a kid. A bunch of other stuff came up, found out, like, none of my collection was insurable. Someone got held up at gunpoint, someone trying to steal their collection. I mentioned I had a kid. We had just bought a house. I wanted to pay off some debt, get rid of our person in our apartment. So I ended up selling off my collection. I played a bunch through emulation after that. But, like, I've kind of moved away from the whole retro console and video game collecting space. It's just, I had to sell it off. It was the right time. And, kind of the love went out of it. And it took me a while to find something new, but then Home Arcade popped up, and I got really interested in that. But anyways, I wanted to bring this up because I think this is so weird. P-Dubs, I see you. Don't worry, I will. So GameStop announced yesterday the classics are back. They're opening up, I think it's 24 new stores across the U.S. that's going to be specifically GameStop Retro. Now, I don't know the ins and outs, everything about this. I don't know if they bought up like some different chain of retro stores or if this is just stock they had, but they're now opening up new stores that focus specifically on selling retro stuff, showcasing everything back to the Nintendo Entertainment System, and then they've also got some Sega Genesis, but mostly like my guess is they've got a massive stockpile of everything back to Game Boy Advance, DS, Wii U, Xbox 360. They've got all these old games that they bought, used from people, from trade-in and stuff. They just haven't sold. So it makes sense. They get to clear out old inventory, but also it also hits another spot for GameStop as a business, because there's a reality that GameStop has changed a lot in the past 5 years. If you go into a GameStop now, it's very different from what it was five years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, they're more focused now when you go in there on toys, collectibles, like there's stuff like Dungeons and Dragons. You saw in my video there the other day, they have like dice and books you can buy in there. They've also got like pop figures. It's mostly pop figures. It seems like the focus isn't so much on new games anymore. And a lot of that is, despite the fact that a lot of us that have collected games all our life, we live and die from physical media, but this industry seems like it's mostly moving away from that. And the new kids, they don't give a shit if it's physical media or not. That's us. That's us keeping that passion alive. So the new kids are all switching to physical media. And GameStop are noticing less and less, profit from these games, less and less of a return. So maybe on top of their new stores and shifting to all these different collector niche type things, they also realize, all right, physical media for gaming is probably going away. Let's shift and focus on where there still is physical media and we can still apply our trade, but in a different way. So it looks like they're opening up a GameStop Retro. Now, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. The pros and cons, I'll start with the cons first because the cons are easy. Their stuff is going to be super expensive. Or not. They're a very big company, so they have an edge over mom and pop shops. They can use the Walmart model, so they'll set up in the same community that, I don't know, like a mom and pop retro gaming store is set up, and they can undercut their prices. They can price the competition out. They can offer you better trade value. They can, sell at better prices in order to push out the competition. It's literally Walmart's model. Once that's done, then they can just charge whatever the hell they want. Also Walmart's model. Walmart comes in, kills all, mom and pop shops, and then just goes about their business. So there you go. Not a word of a lie, but I finished Jekyll and Hyde on the NES the very first time I played it, and I have to give credit to, he's not doing YouTube anymore, and I say he, but it's a they now. So my friend Matt, I don't know what they go by now, but Matt left YouTube, and he had a great channel. He was the LGN Defender. Cygnus Destroyer was his channel. So anyways, he used to do all these videos on like games that were considered bad that he tried to find like the good of. And one of the games he covered one time was Jekyll and Hyde. And like I watched this video and it pretty much laid it out for me how to beat the game. So the very first time I played Jekyll and Hyde, I beat it. Like, obviously I didn't beat it in like 20 minutes. It took me like 3 or 4 hours, but I beat Jekyll and Hyde the first time I ever played it. So there you go. One GameStop 30 minutes from me is joining the retro, but 4 other are not yet listed. Yeah, No Good Games is affecting them. Still got lines when the blockbuster games came out, like Zelda and College Football. Yeah, I remember that. Like when the new Tears of the Kingdom came out, I was standing in line waiting for it, and there was a guy in front of me, and he was like just turning around to everybody. He was like, "Get hyped, this is a special day. There's a new Legend of Zelda." And I was like, "Dude, I'm 44. I just want to get my game and get home." Take your positivity elsewhere. Yet when I bought it, there was no internet. Yeah, that's one of those games that fools you because it had such a cool friggin' cover, but the game, it's not awesome, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's very confusing, but I enjoyed it. Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger. Happy Power Rangers Day, everybody. That's right. I don't know the number of years. I think it was like 93, 94 Power Rangers came out. I might be wrong, but today is the day. Power Rangers appeared on TV. I'm going to give this a little love. Thank you very much, Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, one of the best people in the community. And you know what happens when someone drops a super chat? You got to give the people what they want. Again, I did turn these down, so they were less abrasive. Hopefully it works. There you go. Hey, Port of Dreams, thanks for joining. 1993, 31 years. There it is. Power Rangers did come out today, so happy anniversary, Power Rangers. Love the show. My kids were actually watching it. They turned it on yesterday. I thought that was interesting. I came into the room, and my wife's sitting there doing work, and my kids are sitting there, and I look on the TV, and I'm like, yeah, that's Goldar. Yeah, they're watching Power Rangers. Good for them. Anyways, going back to this topic really quickly, as a con, it could possibly drive up the price of retro games, could possibly cause other stores to close down, but as a positive, a mainstream retro game store isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, mom and pop shops are awesome, but not all of the mom and pop shops are awesome. Let me tell you, there's some really bad guys out there. So, I mean, there's some good and there's some orders to this. Like, especially when they first come out, you're going to get some deals. You're going to be able to find some good prices on games. I'll never forget, like, when I got my Metroid Prime Trilogy on Wii, everybody like online on eBay and just like in trade groups were charging, what was it? They were trying to get like $150 for Metroid Prime Trilogy, and I was kicking myself for missing it. And luckily, I just went online, found out the GameStop in Mount Pearl had a copy for $30. I just went and bought that one. I was so elated. So, there's some good things about these more professional stores, and there already are more professional stores. Like, if you guys are big Metal Jesus fans, there's like Pink Gorilla, which is already like a big business retro gaming store, so it's nothing new. I think this is a good move by GameStop. Obviously, they see the shift coming. Like, even companies like Walmart have massively reduced their gaming sections. They don't carry as much physical media anymore. Best Buy has pretty much eliminated all their DVDs, CDs, and all that stuff. They'll probably take out the physical games at some point. So, yeah, this is the direction it's going in, which sucks. But, man, anything to keep GameStop alive, because I know Amazon exists, but, that feeling of going to the store, grabbing the game off the shelf, and especially, like, the games that you don't expect to see at the bigger retailers, games like if you're like me, those specialty RPGs and stuff like that, you're not going to find those at your big box retailer. So, yeah, I hope this works for GameStop. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, exactly, Port of Dreams. Same with me. I bought my house. Luckily, I didn't have to sell my collection when I bought my house. I was lucky in that point, but after we moved into the house, like, I had the tenant from hell. She was down there using drugs. We had a kid on the way, and I was just like, all right, we got rid of her in the apartment. And there's times when times are tight for families, especially new families starting out. My wife's a lawyer, but like still very early in her career, so she's trying to build up, herself and a clientele. So sometimes when stuff gets tight, you got to sell some stuff off. It sucks, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah. CDs are the way to go. The $5 to $8 on eBay. I don't know. I took a bunch of video when I was in Cleveland last year. I got to hang around with some of my old friends from the old retro gaming days. And we went around thrifting with EdT1138, Mr. Dude 206, and my buddy Weekend Game Guy. And while we were there, he did. I don't know if he picked up any CDs, but the big thing they were getting into now was VHS collecting. And I still got a ton of VHSs, but apparently that's a huge thing now too. VHS collecting, everybody's in on it. I've got a huge horror movie VHS collection, but outside of that, not so much. Anyways, that's the last on that GameStop Retro. So moving on to pinball now. And hot topic, P-Dubs did a video on this, kind of blew up a little bit, but if you haven't heard, Jurassic Park Stern Pinball Home Edition is coming to Costco. Yeah, you heard me right. You're going to be able to go to Costco and buy a Stern pinball machine. It's not the first time Stern and Stern Pinball and Costco work together, but this is the first time now. So right now, Jurassic Park, When the Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth, Home Edition, will be available at Costco. It's up on their website now if you want to learn a little bit more about it. The big thing with the Home Edition Plus has its own art package and also comes with Insider Connected, which no other Home Edition actually has set up. So it will have Insider Connected, and this is actually a pretty good game. It's designed by Jack Danger. If you go to their website, it lists the price at $599.99, and before anybody says anything, I'll make it bigger so you guys can see. But when you find it in store at Costco, it's actually going to be $1,000 less. So Costco store owners get a discount, $4,999. So here's the thing. Apparently the home edition of this is good, but there are some drawbacks. One of the big things is this DMD. This DMD is so much smaller. I mean, with the normal size pinball, you know, if you've ever seen a pinball, you know how big it is. But with the home editions, it's got a much smaller DMD. It's also got a very different game design. If you're a big fan of going to the arcade and playing Jurassic Park Pro or Jurassic Park Premium, it's a different game. This is not the game that was designed by Keith Elwin. This is actually a different game designed by Jack Danger. Apparently it's really good, but not the same game at all. So, yeah. Nooner says, still going to be $2,000 too much. Jurassic Park Home Edition comes with a telescope so you can actually see the back LCD. At Games needs to get the 4K in Costco. Yeah, maybe. I can't see these being worth it. Better to save up a little more and complete game or buy used. I agree with that too. So here's the thing that goes against it. So really quickly, let me just take myself off screen. I want to show you something here now. I'm not a pinball channel. Not that I'm not a pinball channel, but I'm not a pinball channel. I'm a Michael channel, and I talk about all the different things I like. People say that they're the best home arcade channel, or they're the best, you know, toy channel and all that stuff. I'm the best home arcade, retro gaming, toy, news, foolishness, horror movies, that kind of channel. A little bit of a multiverse of hobbies. That's kind of what I want to do on my channel, and always what I try to put across. So I'm not a pinball channel, but somebody that is a pinball channel, and it actually has a really good pinball channel, is a friend of ours by the name of Carrie Hardy. So Carrie Hardy did a video yesterday talking about this new move with Stern Pinball going back to Costco and selling this home edition. I advise all you guys to go check out his video and hear his thoughts on this. And where this comes from is he's indicating that the reason that Stern Pinball are doing this is because Stern Pinball are, not Stern Pinball specifically, but interest seems to be declining in home pinball machines. People going out and spending big money on pinball machines. Now, I've got a theory that I don't remember he discussed during this, but I wrote it in the comments of his video. I think what's going on right now with Stern Pinball and the overall pinball landscape is very reminiscent of what we went through with Arcade 1-Up. Stern Pinball and pinball in general really started to see a rise in interest and an increase in people buying machines. Guess what? During the pandemic. And you know what happened? During the pandemic, we were stuck home. People weren't spending money on vacations. People weren't spending money going out to restaurants. People just weren't spending money on usual activities they would do outside the home. What they were doing is they had this basically excess expendable income that they would spend doing these things. They were stuck at home, and then they would get wild and crazy ideas, even like I did. I'm going to buy a real pinball machine. So more and more people got into having these home arcades like Arcade 1-Up, and more people got into buying expensive home use toys like pinball machines. Now, during that period, prices went bananas, and I've watched tons of videos on this of people like bringing home machines. And one of the interesting things is they talk about how much the price has changed in the last couple of years. So I want to go back and just take a look at this price point on the Jurassic Park Home Edition again. So we go down and take a look at the price point. The Home Edition is $5,999, $6,000. Now, when I bought my Godzilla Premium, I was looking at a Pro at the time. The Pro price at that time was $5,999. So that's just 2 years ago. Little less than 2 years ago, you could buy a Pro for $5,999. The Pro price now is $6,999. So here's the thing. If you go back and look at most of the videos about people picking up machines like Stranger Things, Godzilla, all those things, they'll talk about how the Pro price was the price at Costco, $4,999 as early as 2020. So you think about it, like pinball prices have just gone bananas. Like a premium was $8,999 when I bought my Godzilla Premium. You go look at a premium now. Let's just bring it up on screen here. So I'm going to go to games, John Wick. So let's go down here. John Wick. No, we'll look at Jaws. John Wick's the newest one. We'll look at Jaws. So here's the premium. You know, this is the kind of stuff people like Justin can afford. $9,699. So we're almost at $10,000. Now, if you go into the other ones, they've gone up. It's called pinflation, and pinball has just gone nuts. These main companies have gone nuts with raising their prices. It went from, you know what, a very expensive hobby to an even more expensive hobby. And I understand why. During the pandemic, there were part shortages, there were extra charges with shipping, but the prices never came down. And you get into a supply and demand issue where, you know, honestly, the demand for your product has gone down. People are spending money on vacations again. People are going to concerts. They're going out to dinner. They're not spending the same amount of money on staying home. It just doesn't exist anymore. On top of that, people were trapped in their home for like a year, almost 2 years. People were stuck in their house. You know the last thing they want to do now? Stay in their house. So you don't have the same demand anywhere near what you had a couple years ago. But your prices are still astronomical, and I don't know whose fault that is. I don't know if it's their fault because they were getting away with it during the pandemic and they just didn't bring the prices back down. I don't know if it's the parts and the shipping, if the parts and the shipping went up during COVID or pandemic and then never came down afterwards. I don't know where it lies, but you can't expect people to, want to pay these prices. So I don't think the answer to that is a home edition at Costco for $4,999 when that was the price of your Pro back in like 2019, 2020. So it's just crazy, right? Yeah, even very well-off people got into the hobby. It caused a huge price spike again, but even those people have run out of room and interest. And that's the other thing. You could buy a home edition for $4,999 at Costco or $5,999 off their website, but I bet your ass, you just take a look at your classifieds, go on Pinside and watch the want ads, and if you're Canadian, there's Pinball Rebel, I think it's called. I can't remember now, but used prices are coming down. So say, for example, like you're really interested in, I don't know, like a newer machine, like a Stranger Things or a Godzilla. They sold a ton of them, and people probably aren't interested anymore. Keep an eye out. Prices are dropping on the secondary market, so there's deals to be had. So that's why you just date your money, yeah. Yeah, Brian G says that's what companies do. They will make excuses to raise prices but never drop them. Even if inflation drops, they will say you have more money to spend now. We don't. No one has more money. I know I don't. I am 40% worse off financially than I was when the pandemic started. I make the same amount of money. I just can't afford as much. Exactly. And that's where it goes right there. I mean, I love Stern Pinball. I love their machines. I love buying new in-box pins because I'm not that confident. I'm not Cool Toy. I don't think I can buy something that's broken and put it back together. So I love buying new, but just the prices just keep going up and up. So anyways, I'll go back to the Costco thing here now, and I'll just tell you about it. So I don't know how well they're going to sell in Costco. I mean, $4,999 isn't chump change. I mean, how many people go to Costco and be like, yeah, I'm going to get like 6 rolls of toilet. I'm going to get a bundle of toilet paper, bundle of paper towels, get some kitty litter, buy some fruit, get that rotisserie chicken. And oh yeah, I'm just going to buy this $5,000 pinball machine. I mean, I don't know, maybe big spenders do, Arcade 1-Up has seen success with it, with their XL size cabs and now the cocktail table. So maybe there's a market for it. I don't know. I think this is more Stern trying to think outside the box and trying to bring new people into the fold, new markets. We saw that with them going out and finding these influencers that they sent machines to that weren't your typical in the community influencers people already would have heard of. It's trying to bring in a new audience. And I think that's what this Costco measure is again. But I think maybe what they could have done was offer a pro through Costco for, same $1,000 off, whatever it is. I think they would have got more interest in that, but what do I know? I don't know. I just, this one, it's a nothing burger for me. I mean, it's $4,999 at Costco. My question is, what happens if they don't sell? Because we know Costco are ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Like, you saw the Pac-Man machines, when they sold their fill of those last year, they put them on for as low as $300. They were selling them. Is there a chance, if you're a keen watcher, if your Costco's actually bring them in store and there's just like a crate of Stern Jurassic Park Home Edition Pros or Plus sitting at the Costco, can you get a deal? That's what I'm wondering. So, interesting. Yeah, exactly. Yes, they do have a Costco here. I was there earlier today with my daughter. I bought a rotisserie chicken. I bought laundry detergent because it's the best place to get it. I bought 2 liters of milk, box of chocolate bars, treats for the family, and a $5,000 pinball machine. Just normal purchase. I guess I did. I guess I don't get it. Then again, I'm not that guy. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's crazy here in Canada. The grocery stores just took such advantage of everybody. I mean, the grocery stores are recording record profits and still complaining like they're not making enough money. It's nuts. It's nuts. How can you brag about profits and then jack up the prices and say, well, we have to at the same time? I don't get it. Oh, yeah, 100%. I've never even played the Star Wars, but I've just heard so many great things about Jurassic Park. And I'm sorry, guys, I didn't even show you the video. I mean, like, what a jerk I am. Hold on here now. Let me go back, and I'll get it up for you guys. So let's take a look at the actual video. So I'm going to bring it up on YouTube here, and we'll have a go at it here. Sorry. Getting used to my new hands here. Exactly. Like, that's the difference. If the home edition was like $1,999, $2,999, you could kind of understand it or justify it. But like, when it's a stone's throw away from a pro, and really the price the pro should be, how do you justify buying a home edition? I mean, I just don't get it. It's such a downgrade from the tables. I hate the fact that there's so many models as well, but there you go. Anyways, let me bring this up. I'll show you this, guys. This is the trailer for the Jurassic Park Home Pinball Plus. It's a game designed by Jack Danger. Apparently it plays really well. It's got Insider connected. I don't know if this is a new art package. I think it is, but it's the same Jurassic Park Home Edition that's always been there. Apparently the game is really good, really fun. So yeah, take it as for what you will. It's a cool theme. If you can get it discounted at Costco, like save a little bit extra money, I wouldn't pay the $4,999 or the $5,999 Stern's asking. But I mean, if it doesn't sell great and you walk in there one day and you see it for like $2,000-$3,000, you could take a waiver on it if you got that kind of cash. Apparently the game plays great. I've never played one. I've never even seen a Stern Home Edition in person. I don't know if I could see it with the little tiny DMD. I don't know. I will tell you, the real Jurassic Park game is fantastic. I know Justin has a Pro. I've played the Pro and the Premium a lot. It's a really good game. My buddy Michael Walsh here in Newfoundland actually has a Premium. I don't know if he still does. I'd have to check in with him, because last time I was up there, he had Godzilla Premium, Jurassic Park Premium, and Turtles Premium. I know he still has Turtles. I know he's trying to sell his Godzilla. He recently picked up a Hot Wheels. I don't know if he has Jurassic Park anymore. But yeah, guys, that's the game. Keep your eyes open at Costco to see if they're there. Very interesting choice here now. Oh, I'm going to end this poll. Going back to the New Wave Toys poll really quickly. Do you like the extra control deck New Wave Toys concept? 46% of people said, you betcha. Yes, they like the concept. But what's weird is when we talked about the conversation about buying it, only 7% said they would. What's the difference between the Pro and Home? It's a completely different game, Rogue Zero. Completely different. And has a smaller DMD. Those are the big issues. And the regular Home Edition doesn't have Insider Connected. So that's a new feature with the Home Edition Plus. I'd buy for $3K Canadian if I had space. Yeah, there it is. Godzilla and Jurassic Park Premiums are the two I want. I love my Godzilla Premium. I went down and got a couple games in. I'm a little rusty there the other night because Justin's challenged me to a duel when we go to the Chicago Pinball Expo. I know I got a better top score than Justin, but I think he's more consistent than me, so I got to practice up. No, I didn't see that. I don't know if I want to see it. Hardcore parkour. So anyways, guys, that's a little bit of Stern news. Now, where that article first came up and everybody got a look at was from Nap Arcade. I know P-Dubs mentioned this in his video. I'm going to bring it up as well and make it bigger so people can see. So Nap Arcade, I'm not a pinball guy. Go check out Kerry Hardy on YouTube. But if you're looking for just straight up pinball news in written form, go check out Nap Arcade. This is like my go-to source basically for arcade and pinball news. Anyways, another thing that's coming out is another pinball company that, you guys might be familiar with, Jersey Jack. They just did Elton John, which is a great table. I haven't played a ton of Jersey Jack, but I've played their Guns N' Roses table, which I really enjoyed. I know not everybody does. Your Gaming Techie has Toy Story 4. They did a Toy Story 4. So they're a rival pinball company. The big difference with them is they don't really have back glasses. They have a little back glass. And instead of having like a little tiny DMD, they have a huge DMD back there on the screen. Instead of having the back glass and then the smaller DMD, it's this massive DMD. Their machines do play well, but I do find the flipper strength is kind of soft compared to Stern and Classic Williams games. That's my one downside about Jersey Jack. Anyways, Jersey Jack actually had a little bit of a leak there the other day. We haven't seen anything since Elton John came out, but they will have a new machine ready. And for those of you heading to the Chicago Pinball Expo, you may want to pay attention to this because this leaked earlier this week. It looks like the next game IP they're coming out with is based on, I can't remember the name of the movie. Oh my God, Avatar. Which is funny because there's two movies I have, for some reason, just boycotted. I refused to watch my entire life. And they're somehow both James Cameron movies. So it's Titanic and the second one, Pandora. Wouldn't you know it? They're also two of the highest grossing movies of all time. And for some reason, I just put it in my head, I'm never going to watch these. So this is a theme I'm not interested in. But I think it's going to do really well because, as you can see here, it's huge. Apparently, the pinball community is not really excited about it, but it's a huge theme. I mean, anybody walking into an arcade is probably going to go up to it. Looks like they're going to do a lot of stuff with like black light, like Stranger Things has. So it's going to be interesting. So Avatar is the next theme coming from Jersey Jack. That's a little bit of news that's shared this week. We'll wait for an official announcement. This is definitely going to be announced before the Pinball Expo, so we'll take a look at that. The other thing that came up recently, and this is a long-standing rumor, Justin always gives us updates about this. I think Justin's, collecting the coins out of his couch right now, getting ready for the announcement. He'll buy it when it first comes out, and I'm sure Retro Ralph will get it right away as well. And that is Stern Pinball's next game, apparently coming out, their next cornerstone game coming out. Apparently we're going to find out maybe as early as this week is going to be X-Men but it's going to be comic book X-Men. It looks like Zombie Yeti's doing the art, and the game is going to be designed by Jack Danger, which ties in perfectly to the Jurassic Park Home Edition because that's the first pinball machine Jack Danger made for Stern. You may also know he's responsible for the Foo Fighters game. That's regarded pretty high as well. So anyways, yeah, Chris Eek, I'm with you. Spooky Halloween Pinball Home Edition. Still want to get Halloween. I know people shit on it, but I played it and I love it. So anyways, X-Men is the next cornerstone game. We should find out as early as this week. You're going to get a look at the art. Zombie Yeti does an amazing job. If you've taken a look at any of his stuff, he did Godzilla. It's absolutely gorgeous, so can't wait to see what he does with the art on that. I don't know how well the game will play, but this looks to be the next game coming out from Stern Pinball, and yeah, we'll know in the next couple of days. So excited because we'll probably be some of the first people to get a chance to get hands-on with this Pinball Expo. But if they're announcing it next week, I'm sure some other people will get their hands on it first. I don't know why you wouldn't wait to Pinball Expo or why you didn't do it at Comic-Con, especially if it's X-Men, but X-Men is the next Stern Pinball to come out. So we know 2 of the big games to be announced now. It looks like X-Men coming to Stern and Avatar coming to Jersey Jack. Alice coming to Dutch Pinball, Alice in Wonderland. Still waiting to hear about that Back to the Future edition. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I heard they have finally fixed the flippers, and it can be fixed on old machines. Cost a lot, look amazing, and are built amazing, but usually not as fun as Stern's. I've got very limited experience. I'm so into Guns N' Roses. That's that's my favorite band of all time. So yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna like it even if it's not good. But I do find the flipper strength off. I heard Elton John was completely different. Elton John played great, so there you go. All right, guys. So anyways, that's the real pinball news. We got a little bit more. I don't have any idea how long I've been going, but there's a couple other things I did want to talk about, one of which is we had a Nintendo Direct there the other day, and I gave Garage Gamer a bit of shit because Monday, when I was doing my chillin' chat, he said, we aren't even going to talk about the Nintendo Direct coming out tomorrow. And I was like, I don't care. It's a partner Direct. Who really cares? Who watches the partner Directs? What does it matter? I don't really care what the partners do. What I failed to realize is the partners didn't disappoint. There was nothing really that interesting when it came to new games coming to the Nintendo Switch. At least not for me. But what I failed to realize, retro sometimes will surprise the hell out of you. And we got some huge surprises during that Nintendo Direct, and these are cross-platform. So one of the big news stories this past year was the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection coming to Nintendo Switch. We also got another very big surprise from Capcom just the other day at the Nintendo Partner Showcase. And yeah, I got to eat my words because Garage Gamer was right. There was something to talk about, and I'm going to show you guys that now. I think you already know what I'm talking about because it's on the thumbnail and it's in the title. But at the Nintendo Partner Showcase, we found out Capcom was bringing us Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and this has such a wild assortment of games, a lot of SNK versus Capcom, and some other really cool shit too. So let's go through the whole video here. Fighting Collection 2. So 8 beloved games, and Dreamcast fans are going to get very excited in a couple of minutes. So let's go through the games. You got Capcom versus SNK Pro. This one I'm not familiar with. Capcom versus SNK 2. That does look pretty good. I don't know if I played that one. Here's where it gets exciting. Power Stone and Power Stone 2 from the Dreamcast coming to this Fighting Collection with online battles. Project Justice. That's another one. I think this is Naomi's system. Street Fighter Alpha 3 also coming, so you're going to be able to play all the Street Fighter Alphas. And Capcom Fighting Evolution. I'm not personally familiar with this. Plasma Sword. Also not really familiar with this, but that does look cool. That looks like a PlayStation game. So it has all the extras, the official art, all that other shit. Interesting times here, man. Yeah. Good on Capcom for continuing doing the whole Fighting Collection piece. I don't know if you guys follow any wrestlers online, but I do. And, what's his name? Who does the gaming channel? Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods has been losing his mind. Like, he keeps posting pictures of him with Dreamcast controllers. He's like, I was made for this. One of the Dreamcast controllers was the fishing reel. I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world. Anyways, very exciting for Capcom fighting fans. If you have like one of these fighting sticks, like I have the 8-bit fighting stick, or you have a fighting stick and you want to play these games online on your Switch, on your PlayStation, you're going to be able to do so. So Capcom vs. SNK 2 was pretty great. I don't know if I've ever played it, Brian G. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no comprehension on whether or not I played it, but yeah, I mean, it looks good. I'm probably going to pick these up for Power Stone 1 and 2. Street Fighter Alpha 3, yeah, I think this is pretty great. So that was one of the most exciting pieces of news. Now the other one that I'm really super excited about, like I was all in excited about. I don't know if this is your guys' stuff, because I know this is typically an arcade type space that we're talking in. That's what you guys mostly want to talk about. But for me, I was absolutely in love with this. And that is the Castlevania Dominus collection. So a little while ago, when I was trying to save up money for my Stranger Things pinball, I kept getting rid of some of my physical game collection. And I actually sold off my DS games to try to save up for Stranger Things. Didn't work out, but I did. Anyways, I regretted that because I actually never finished this game, Order of Ecclesia. It's one of the harder Castlevania Metroidvania games. So what this is basically all three of the DS released Castlevania Iga series, you know, that Metroidvania type thing. And the question was, how were they going to convert it so you could play this dual screen game on a regular controller and, you know, not make it look bad? But this is perfect. I love the way that they've displayed it with the main screen here so you can see the action, and then they've got the two dual screen options, the map and the actual stat screen right there for you to go through. Love the way they have done this. I love all these games except for Order of Ecclesia, because it's really hard. I'm currently jumped into Dawn of Sorrow. Is it Dawn of? Yeah, Dawn of Sorrow right now. I don't know if I took on that guy. I'm about halfway through, but like I am so excited about this. It was $33 Canadian. Super fun. I love the fact that you can play pretty much all the Castlevania games. Now, something for you arcade fans out there, Haunted Castle Revisited. So you can play Haunted Castle, and it's like a new version of Haunted Castle with updated graphics and shit. I think this is the Master System version, not necessarily the arcade version, but yeah. So you only played Circle of the Moon, Port of Dream. Yeah, they're all great. I love them. Like, I mean, Symphony of the Night now is the only one of these Castlevania games that's not on the Nintendo Switch. So hopefully they come out with another version with Symphony of the Night as well. But if you're a Castlevania fan, especially like these style of games, I've played them so far. The emulation's spot on. It's done by M2. They're an amazing company. You get different options for how you view it, but you're going to want to view it in the way I've done it. These are amazing. Castlevania clone. It is Castlevania. It's not a Castlevania clone. It is Castlevania. So anyways, the Castlevania Dominus collection. The other thing about this is, where this is a multi-platform release, they couldn't exactly use DS because DS is obviously trademarked by Nintendo, so you can't release a DS collection on the PlayStation. So what they actually did was, coming up with the name Dominus is actually really smart, because the D and the S is at the beginning and the end. So if you shorten the word, it is the DS collection, but they're calling it the Dominus collection. The other thing I wanted to touch on, if you are familiar with the games like Dawn of Sorrow, there's a part where you actually have to draw on the screen. Now, I'm playing on the Steam Deck, and it actually has touchscreen, sensitivity, so I can do that if I want. But if you want to play like on a PC or retro game controllers, they've turned the seal drawing on the screen system to now a QuickTime event of pushing buttons. So we've all played modern games like, Resident Evil 4. We're used to QuickTime events. Or if you've played Parappa the Rapper, you know what I'm talking about. So that's how you do the seals now in Dawn of Sorrow. It's a pretty good option. Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Is that everything I wanted to talk about? No, one other thing. And this is totally not going to be any of your jam. But I want to talk about this anyways. So, I am a big horror movie fan, like especially 80s horror movies, right? And I haven't watched a lot of new horror movies, but lately I've been bored and I got into some new stuff. I've watched stuff people have told me I have to check out. And one of those movies was, Terrifier. So I watched what was it? All Hallows Eve, is that the first one? And then I ended up watching Terrifier 1 and 2. There's a new one coming out. I'm not going to show the trailer for that. I hope I don't get any kind of copyright strike for this, but I watched another movie series this past week, and I got to give it some credit. So hopefully this isn't too racy. If you have kids, you might want to get them to avert their eyes now. But I watched this new horror movie series this past week, and it's actually called Hatchet. So there's a lot of cool throwbacks to other horror movies. I mean, the main character is played by Kane Hodder, who's known as the best Jason Voorhees, who played in the worst Jason Voorhees movies, worst Friday the 13th. Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger, is in it as well. I forget his name now, but I think it's like Tony Todd, who played Candyman, is in this. And as the series goes on, I watched all 4 movies this past week. So there's also other horror movie characters. In the third one, the good guy from Gremlins, I can't remember his name now, but the hero from Gremlins and Gremlins 2 was in it. He played a sheriff. Danielle Harris, who played like Michael Myers' niece in Halloween 4 and 5, she was in these movies. And they even got, what's her name? Felicia Rose, I think it is, who was the girl in the original Sleepaway Camp movie, was in the last one. And if you're a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, I forget what her name is. Harmony, I think it is. Harmony is in the first movie, and you see her boobs. So heads up on that. Anyways, these Hatchet movies were great. Like, they do nothing new. They're so stupid. They have exactly that 80s aspect to them. If you like 80s horror movies, you're going to like these. Super gory, some really bad comedy. Anyways, go check out Hatchet. They have an amazing way of ending the movie, and then the last movie starts off right where the last movie ended. Go check them out. Felissa Rose, thank you very much, Jason. I knew if anybody would know, it would be you. I've only seen Victor Crowley on the last drive-in, but that was a lot of fun. Damn it, I watched Victor Crowley last night. I didn't realize they did a last drive-in version. That's the one I should have watched. Damn it, I should have done that, poor dream. Get Out of Town. Check out Willy's Wonderland. My best friend directed it. I heard good things. I'll definitely see that. Yes, Connell, I apologize. You missed it. We only talked about it really quickly because I don't know how long I've been going, but I get the impression it's been a while. And hell yeah, I'm going to go see Beetlejuice day 1. 100%. Anyways, guys, I've kept you here way too long tonight. You can see why I didn't want to do this as a video, because it would have took me friggin' forever, so I did it as a live stream. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out, joining me on this. Lots of stuff to be excited about. New Wave Toys. You got how many days left? I think it's like 25 days left to get your pre-order in for Crystal Castles. Looks like one of the best looking cabs they've made to date. So very cool. The announcement came out. We all knew what it was going to be. So really quickly, Rhonda Shears is returning to Shudder to do an Up All Night. No way. That's awesome. Love Shudder. Anyways, guys, on top of that, go check out Castlevania Dominus Collection. If you're a fan of these Castlevania games, even if you've never played the DS ones, because the DS was kind of wacky with the dual screens, go check them out. They're fantastic. Maybe as good as Symphony of the Night in some cases. I've heard great things about Order of Ecclesia. I haven't played it. Well, I've owned it, and I've played it a little bit. Just found it too hard. And then, of course, Pinball Expo. Keep your eyes tuned. We're getting new X-Men game announced within the next week. Jersey Jack is unveiling a Avatar pinball. It might be really good looking. Oh, go check out Kerry Hardy's video on that as well. He did one today. That's everything, guys. It's been a long night. It's been fun talking to you. Hope you guys enjoyed this special Wednesday episode of Chill and Chat with Michael B. Big news live. Have a great night, everybody. I don't know if I'll see you anymore this week before Super Game Room Dudes. I'm going to try to, and we'll see how that goes. Anyways, guys, have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next time.